Hey guys, what's up? My name is Flori and this is Waschhaus TV, and today I'm asking the question, is Apple doomed? And it turns out there's an app for that. No, wait, there's a book for that, so let's get started. Welcome to this week's episode of Waschhaus TV. Earlier that day I just finished reading a book called Haunted Empire. It was written by, let me get this right, Yukari Iwatani Kane. She's a reporter with the Wall Street Journal, and she's writing about the tech industry for almost 15 years now. And she was covering Apple for the Wall Street Journal since years now. And she wrote this book about how Apple changed and how Apple is led right now by Tim Cook after Steve Jobs died. And this is a really interesting story and a really interesting book, not only for those who are interested in Apple itself, but also from a business and leadership perspective. So the first part of the book is about the shift from Steve Jobs as CEO at Apple to Tim Cook, which are two really different personalities. And I think she really does a great job of describing those two personalities and how they differ, how their characteristics are different from each other. And she's also covering the working conditions behind the iPhone and the iPad. So the stories at Foxconn and the other contractors in China of suicides, of really bad working conditions and all that kind of stuff, she's covering in great detail. So there are stories from real persons in there that are actually working at those companies in China, at Foxconn. And they actually it breaks your heart sometimes when you read it, and it's so real and so in detail, and that makes it really kind of heartwarming and heartbreaking actually. And another part of the book is about the patent war with Samsung and different kind of companies from the mobile phone sector. So there's not also the big patent war with Samsung mentions, also the Nokia and Motorola that are involved in that story. And she reports with great detail how this evolves and how actually both companies were affected by that war, by the trial that they had to adore. And it's also about the future of Apple. It's about how Apple changed after Steve Jobs, and what this actually means for the future of the company. So there's the big question that is floating all over the place after Steve Jobs died. Will Apple be able to innovate again? And she comes to a great conclusion, and she really, for me as someone who is admiring Apple, and I think for anybody who is admiring Apple, this maybe is going to break your heart, but what she has to say in that book and what she brings to the paper and to the table, I think it's more and it's closer to the truth that anybody at Apple will ever be able to be. And this is really interesting. So is Apple doomed? Maybe it is. But the problem is with Apple that, and this is a really great question in the book, so maybe Apple will just be a great company in the future, but not the geniusly extraordinary company that was innovating and changing the world that it was under Steve Jobs. And maybe it is so. I think it's hard to predict the future. I don't think that she is predicting the future. She is more of revamping what happened in the last two and a half years after Steve Jobs died. And I think it's true, and I think it's really interesting and insightful what she has to say. So you should definitely read it. It's absolutely, it's a really good written book. I read this in, I don't know, 2 days, 3 days, something like that, and couldn't stop reading it. It has so much detail in it, and that it really makes those stories and those things really, really vivid. And yeah, maybe Apple is doomed, maybe it's not. I don't know, whatever it will be. After reading this book, maybe I should buy Google shares, not Apple shares. Google somehow is changing the world and innovating. Apple does not anymore. Check this book out, Haunted Empire. It's written by Yukari Iwatani Kane. And yeah, so that's it for today. This was this week's episode of Was schaust du wie. Thank you very much for tuning in, and see you next week. Now, this is an artistic approach to Was schaust du wie, because today I'm talking about literature, and I thought it's absolutely necessary that we make this in black and white, so that you know that it's literature to the heart, you know.